There's Blake to Roy. This is for the win.
Before Brandon Roy became one of the NBA's great what-ifs, he was something much simpler. He was one of the league's safest answers. Game on the line, give it to Roy. Defense loading up, give it to Roy. Clock winding down, everybody knowing who was taking the shot, still, give it to Roy. For a few years in Portland, Brandon Roy wasn't just promising. He was the guy. His career was short, but if you watched him, there was no debate. Brandon Roy was different. He had this calm, slow-motion game. The possession could be breaking down, and Roy still looked like he was exactly where he wanted to be. He wasn't hunting highlights. He would take his time, rock the defender to sleep, rise up from the mid-range, and suddenly you're jogging back wondering why it all felt so easy. Nothing looked forced. Nothing looked rushed. It looked controlled. So, today, we're going back to Portland. Back to number 7. Back to a player too smooth to only be remembered as a sad ending.
With the 6th pick in the 2006 NBA Draft, the Minnesota Timberwolves select Brandon Roy from the University of Washington.
Brandon Roy didn't need a long career to prove it. That dude was nice. Roy came from Seattle, stayed 4 years at Washington, and entered the NBA polished. He had size for a guard. He could handle, score, pass, defend, and control pace.
Probably the best player I've played against. To me, he's the best shooting guard. Brandon Roy, nice.
By 2006, he was Pac-10 Player of the Year, a first-team All-American, and Portland ended up with him in the draft. The Blazers didn't just draft potential. They drafted a grown man's game. As a rookie, the way he got his numbers mattered more than the numbers themselves. He created offense. He read defenders. He got to his spots. He didn't just add points. He added calm. He gave Portland a closer, a real perimeter creator, a player fans could watch in the fourth quarter and think, okay, we've got a guy. By the end of the season, Roy won Rookie of the Year because he looked ready, complete, and trustworthy. Late in games, defenders knew what was coming. They just couldn't always stop it.
Look to reclaim the lead. A pull-up jumper. Got it! The natural with 47.
By year 2, you could feel the defense stress before Roy even made his move.
Great voice. High IQ basketball player. Understands his size, understands pace and tempo. I mean, he's ahead of his time.
Because he didn't play rushed. Some players beat you with speed, some with bounce, some with strength. Brandon Roy beat you because he controlled the timing.
His talent level, his poise, the way he get to the spot and just raise up, and it's handle. It's handle it's handled so good. You might not think it's good, but you ain't gonna be able to riff him or nothing.
Right.
And his size, and he's big.
Right.
Post, you can shoot it mid-range. He could do it all.
His game was quiet, but it was mean. Slow hesitation, shoulder bump, pull-up. Every pause had a purpose. Every fake got you leaning just enough. And once you leaned, he had you. He could get to the mid-range, finish at the rim, post smaller guards, run pick and roll, and make the right pass. Brandon Roy was smooth, but he was not soft.
His opportunities making the most. Roy goes inside and posterizes. Check some.
Late clock, fourth quarter, crowd standing, defense loaded up. That was Brandon Roy's kind of basketball. That's why Portland loved him. He turned somebody has to make a play into just give it to number 7. The league noticed too. Roy made 3 straight All-Star teams from 2008 to 2010. In 2009 and 2010, he made All-NBA. This wasn't nostalgia. For that stretch, he was one of the best players in the league. Then, right when the future was taking shape, Roy's body started taking it away. His knees took pieces of his game. A little explosion here, a little lift there, a burst that used to be automatic. For a player built on timing, balance, pace, and touch, that was painful. The moves were still there, the mind was still there, the confidence was still there, but the body wasn't cooperating when the skill is still there and the player still knows what he wants to do. But his body just won't let him do it anymore? That hurts. Before it was over, Roy gave Portland one more reminder. Game 4 against Dallas, 2011. Roy wasn't the same player anymore. Everybody knew it, but for one quarter, it came back. Not all of it, not the full version, but enough. Portland was down big, then Roy started making plays. A jumper, a drive, a three, another bucket. And suddenly, the arena changed. You could feel everyone remembering at the same time. Oh yeah, that's Brandon Roy. He scored 18 points in the fourth quarter. Portland came all the way back. Roy gave them one more classic. That's why he still hits different. It wasn't just a comeback. It was a reminder. The body was breaking down. The role had changed. The future was fading, but the game was still in there. And for one more night, when Portland needed someone to make the moment feel possible, number 7 answered.
Portland wins Game 4.
Brandon Roy wasn't just a what if, he was real. He was calm, he was clutch.
Got a hurry, drive, up and, oh, man! Brandon Roy, Heartbreak City.
Sometimes 3 or 4 years is enough. Enough for the fans to remember. Enough for the league to respect it. Enough for the clips to still make you say, man, I forgot how smooth he was. Brandon Roy didn't just have a run. That dude was nice. Drop the next athlete in the comments. And if you watched Brandon Roy live, you already know. This wasn't nostalgia. It was real.